Yo guys, McNulty here. I've been seeing in the past couple of days a lot of videos about Scarlet Enclave. It's too hard, there's no loot. Brother, I'm going broke. So I figured I would just jump on and throw my 2 cents in. And yeah, let's just get straight into it. It's too hard. Is it though? Firstly, yes, this is a very hard raid. And some of the fights are very long in comparison to quote unquote a classic raid boss. In fairness, anything over 1 minute is a pretty long classic fight. I agree at the start, the first boss on launch night was very hard. Going forward, the enrage timers on Voss and Council were very tight. So yes, I agree the fixes to those bosses were well received. But now, too hard? I can't agree with that. There are some examples of people on Council with 10-minute boss fights. I was pretty sure the enrage timer for that fight is 7 minutes. Players have proven that this raid can be done with 20 players. And for those of us who feel like it's a bit too hard or we can choose to nerf it ourselves, personally I like to take about 20 to 25 players. I feel like there's still a challenge there. You have to do the fights the correct way, the way it's intended. But for some of you who think it is just way too hard, you can nerf it yourself by taking up to 40 players. Do you understand how much of a nerf 40 man in that raid is? You are taking twice as many people. I've seen streams of teams of 40 man teams where they ignore every tactic. They die to everything and the bosses still fall over. The general strat that I've seen a 40 man do on Beastmaster is to just zerg it. Let the melee die, battle res the tanks as they die. I've seen teams doing it with 4 tanks where they rotate like it's 4 horsemen. Just hoping that the boss dies before their group falls over. And it works. The boss goes down. The way I see it is, classic community is just terrified to progress when it requires people to be patient and learn. People need to die and start over. Keep doing these fights over and over again to learn how to do them correctly. Personally, if I were to make this raid, I would make it that the cap is 30 players. 40 manning it really obscures the genius of this raid, letting players who just refuse to learn clear the bosses, in my opinion. Not enough loot. I think the place gives plenty of loot. For a classic raid. I know in SOD so far, giving out loot is taking longer than the actual raids themselves. But the raid is designed with SOD in mind, which is a first for this experience, especially at endgame. So far, the raids have basically been copy and pasting bosses with some bullshit FX. Sadly, some of the loot, yes, is dog shit. And a lot of classes just were mostly tier or multiple sets of tier. But I think the SOD player base has some responsibility here as well. I play in a guild with 20 to 30 people who show up to the raid every week. It won't be long now before we are giving tier away to off-specs because, like always, tier very quickly becomes accessible because everyone has their sets. I understand if you're pugging that you might never get your tier, but that's how WoW has always been. If you want to do things the hard way, you can't complain when people are doing it the easy way, get their stuff quicker than you. It's like walking down a motorway, and you're upset at all the cars driving past you. It makes no sense. And yes, if you're going to 40 man the place, on average you'll see less loot, and I think that's completely fair. Raiding costs too much gold. This is where we'll agree. Fucking everything since day 1 in SOD has cost a fortune. It's not just Phase 8. Look at the emeralds that are needed for the Ashbringer. Selling for vendor price the whole expansion. Needed for the weapon, now they're instantly 10 to 15 gold a piece. Could be more now, depending on your server. Like, guys, fuck off. Blizzard are to blame on everything costing so much. In Phase 3, they literally fucked the economy, but nobody complained back then because they were all benefiting from it. But again, we the players are to blame as well. Instead of people learning the fights, I'm seeing people spending thousands and thousands of gold on holy protection potions and saying things like that they cannot kill Voss without frozen runes. What? That's not true. I haven't used a holy protection potion yet. As a GM, I actually vended all of our frozen runes before we knew the raid was coming out. It's a pretty stupid move, I know, but I can't see into the future. Personally, you could use some greater fire protection potions. On my server, they're a gold apiece. It does me rightly. And to be honest with you, if your healers are good enough, you probably won't even need it. Again, I don't see any situation in which these consumes are required. Like, literally, you cannot kill a boss without this protection potion. Sure, they're going to help you, and ultimately, if you're doing the fight correctly, they won't be needed. But yeah, the raid does cost a lot. Just your normal consumes are crazy priced. But again, I think that's on the players and the bots. But again, Classic has always cost us a fortune. Back in my day, we were spending 10 gold on greater fire protection potions. Back in 2019. We didn't need them then, but the players made them mandatory. And in SOD, nothing has really changed. Here's my conclusion, and my basic breakdown of my opinion. Firstly, I don't want the raid to be nerfed. I don't want to see some bollocks like the Dragon Soul nerf implemented or the ICC buff. It literally takes the soul out of the raid. Lads, find yourself a good guild. I don't mean a rank 1 guild, I mean a like-minded bunch where you can have a good time, people will let you learn the raids, and later on help you achieve your goals, whether that be parsing or maybe even just clearing it with a 20-man group. The loot will come. It always does. We've seen Blizzard give us another piece towards the weekly chalice. That will help us with our loot, but ultimately tier will be worthless in a few weeks anyway, especially if you're in a guild. You'll see players start to get their 6 sets, and then they'll start to get them on their alts, and then you'll see re-rollers get their whole 6 set in one day, in one raid. It always happens. It becomes the least valuable piece of gear, and at the minute tier is so strong that it'll basically nerf the raid for you. Progress needs to be a thing for Classic players. You need to learn how to learn, especially if we want Classic Plus. For some reason we are afraid to die on our raids, and I think Blizzard should help with wipe recovery and wipe downtime. Like, fuck's sakes, on Voss, we're having 1 minute fights, and when we were wiping on it, it was taking us like 5 minutes to walk back, rebuff, eat your feast, and repull. Blizzard, that's too long. You need to wise up. But ultimately, we the players need to be learning fights rather than brute forcing them. And in Classic, that's always been the case. If you are in a guild, and you're still in a guild that's maybe, let's say, 5 out of 8, that's okay. Take your time. This raid isn't going anywhere. Enjoy the journey as a guild. Like you guys, the people in these guilds that have progressed in this raid and they didn't kill it on day 1 or week 1, you're going to remember this raid way better than the hardcore players. You'll remember this raid for years to come because it's something that you overcame. It was a challenge for you. You overcame it with your boys, and you did it. You killed Calderon, you get your Ashbringer. It just means so much at that level. The World First guys, they don't remember this raid. They don't care about it. Look, I know right now in your situation recruitment is hard, but don't let the difficulty of the raid slow you down. Get stuck in. Trust me, as you get more gear, each boss will get easier, and that's the way this raid's designed. It's designed that when you get your 2 sets and your 4 sets, that each boss basically gets a minor nerf. That's how big these sets are. And trust me, with each week the raid will get easier and Calderon will fall. But lastly, in a good guild as well, the price of things will also come down. You'll start to play with a consistent bunch of players. Raid leaders should be supplementing things like world buffs and maybe protection potions, and they'll help players who are specifically struggling. All in all, it is a hard raid, but nothing that the Classic player base can't handle. The loot will come, you'll get your gear. The cost of this raid will lower with time as your wipes reduce. But don't make Blizzard steal the soul of this raid because you can't be bothered to progress. Enjoy times like these, because eventually we'll be clearing this raid in an hour, even in pugs, and we'll be begging Blizzard for Phase 9, which may never come. But yeah, that's my opinion on things, guys. If you think I'm talking a load of shite, leave me a comment, tell me what you think. I love a good argument. And make sure to like and subscribe. And as always, peace.